As the weather's starting to get a bit nicer and spring is about to roll by, we are thinking all things outdoors, and we want to create these beautiful outdoor spaces that we can enjoy and make the most out of the spring weather. I must say, one of the biggest selling points when we bought this house, for me personally, was the outdoor living space. It definitely has a great patio, great size, and a decent sized yard, as well as a deck. Granted, it's unrealized potential, but this brings me to today's video, which is part one of what I'm sure is many different parts of our outdoor living space. If you are in the process of creating an outdoor living space, I would first recommend that the first thing that you do is sit down and examine and assess what is it that you want to create the space for. Is it for living? Is it for your kids to play in? Is it an additional eating space? Is it for entertaining? And keep that in mind when you pick the pieces and the elements that go into that space. The very first thing that we did when we wanted to create the space was to tackle the flooring. It's a great size, and as you can see, there is so much potential here, but the floors left a lot to be desired. And so what we decided to do was an easy IKEA solution, which was to go and get some tiles, and they're interlocking tiles that you can find at IKEA for different styles, and we decided to install those first and foremost before we added any furniture to the space. Then I wanted the space to have flow because I wanted it to be mainly for entertainment. I wanted to be able to move furniture as I please. If I'm having a party, if I'm having a game night, I want to be able to add low pieces of furniture for cards and for drinks. So the very first thing that we did was create an L sectional, which my husband was such a darling to find a plan online and build it himself from scratch for us. Like, what? This bamboo plant, guys, you would not believe it. I bought it for $15 at a thrift store. Yes, $15 for this nice and tall, over 6 feet bamboo plant. That I ran to it and I grabbed it, and all I had to do was grab a planter from Joanne. Initially, I had put boxes in it and I placed the plant in there, but what ended up happening is there is a lot of wind around here, and so when it got windy, the plant kept getting knocked out. So instead, what I ended up doing was to get some sand that I had from a sandbox, which we use since we're in Florida and there is hurricanes, so we keep sand boxes in our garage. So I just used one of them. Shh, don't tell my husband this, but I just used one of them and poured the sand inside the planter to keep it from falling. And since then, it has not moved an inch. The other plants and other pieces that you've seen, these are a collection of DIY projects and thrifted items. A moss bowl, as I've told you guys in my thrifting video before, I love getting thrifted bowls, which those black bowls were thrifted, and they were $3 each at my local thrift store. And I picked up 3 of them because there were 3 of them. And so I use them in the space. I didn't want to use too much moss because the moss is like $6, which is not bad at all at Walmart. So I ended up picking up a bag of moss and I put some tissue paper under it, and I just covered it and made a moss ball out of it. Again, this book was a thrifted book that I have read actually, and all I had to do was also remove the cover from it and turn it into a beautiful coffee table. I did end up putting Haitian art piece in there, which I do intend to have all over my home just as an honor to my heritage. So I did end up putting this art piece that my mother-in-law gifted me with. It is so beautiful on that. And that's it, guys. I didn't talk about the rugs. The rugs were from Amazon. Again, they were such a steal. If I can find it and if it's still at the same price, I will link it for you guys. And that used to be our dining room table in our previous apartment. So still has so much life in it. So I didn't want to get something that, that was just going to be So I wanted to get either something that I was going to love and that was going to last a long time and make that investment, or build a really large table that could accommodate even 10 to 12 people. But when I thought about it, knowing that I wanted to use that space for entertainment, I decided against it because this table would make it very easy for me to move around as I please and rearrange and just leave it in a corner, maybe for food, for drinks, if I'm having a party or something in the backyard. So I decided to keep that table and just add some chairs to it instead. And we got these chairs, guys, they were actually not dining room table chairs. So instead of buying outdoor dining chairs, I decided to go the route of buying conversation pieces and breaking them apart. So these were conversation pieces, which were for like about, I think, $150 or $100 to $100 per set on Amazon. So I decided to just go ahead and go that route instead. And I repurposed the tables that came in the conversation piece as coffee tables in the space and just like, you know, side tables instead. And it worked out really great because we have 6 great chairs. They're very comfortable. They're very sturdy. And I'll definitely link that below for you guys as well. But we decided to go that route instead. Now, if you are creating an outdoor space, there are 3 elements that you always have to think about. And the number one element is plants, living organisms. So you can do that with either plants that you purchase at a nursery, at a plant nursery. I do not have a green thumb, and I did not want to commit to getting plants that were going to die. So I ended up going the full route. If you are going the full route, especially in an outdoor space, I would highly recommend that you find faux that look very real or as close to real as possible, because it just doesn't look right to have an outdoor space and to have very plasticky looking plants in there. So if you can find good quality ones, those are ideal. The second element that you want to incorporate is fire. So tabletop fire pits, or if you do have a fire pit, those are great. Our space is enclosed, so I did not want to put a fire pit in there because of the gases that it emit. And that is a plan for once we do our patio. Once we do our deck, we do have a plan to put a fire pit in there, but that's sometime later this year. But for this patio, what I ended up doing instead was to just head to Amazon and grab some tabletop fire pits, and those are great. You can make a bowl with it, with rocks around it, but I just decided to use it as is. And the third element, which I am still on the hunt for, is water, because you want something that makes the space serene, peaceful, that makes it feel like zen. And the sound of the water and the calm that it brings is also always nice to have in an outdoor space. So those are the 3 elements. You want fire, you want nature, and as in the form of plants, of course, and you want a water element, like a fountain. Again, this is our outdoor space. It is coming out so nicely. It's coming out so nicely. I still have certain things that I want to tweak, I want to add to it, but this is just phase 1. And listen, we're going to be here for quite some time in this house, so I want to take my time and do it right. But this was a budget option just so we could have a space to live, and I am very happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you would add, because again, like I said, I am still very open to tweaking it. So if there's anything that you feel like I should add in there that's not yet in there, hit me up in the comment and let me know. Thank you again for watching this video. Once again, my name is Vanessa. Toodaloos. Until next time.